holds. My internet can be kind of bad here. All right.
Don't worry, she'll hold together. Hear me, baby. Hold together.
Hear me, baby. Hold together. Perfect. Okay. Let me get my fucking screens.
Do you think it would be fine if I just walked us through the trailer like scene by scene, so we don't have to keep switching? Like, That's fine. I don't know. Because I wrote it down, and then
that's fine.
We'll just go back and forth. Sweet.
Yeah,
I just really
that's
feel
all
like
good, man.
I deserve the spotlight, so basically get in the fucking back seat, bitch.
It's okay. I posted our live reaction, so you get to.
It's true. I'm putting my name on it. I'm gonna claim that both voices are me.
You actually have a mask. I don't exist. I'm your persona.
You're my greatest creation. Nicolas Cage style.
Nicolas Cage style. Okay. Method acting. There you go.
All
right.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready too.
Sweet. Hello and welcome everyone to the Tosche station, which is returning. It was gone, but it's back, baby. Yeah, Alex, you're here. I'm here. We both have had a lot going on in our lives and trips, and you went to Japan and I went to Europe and all this, but if anything could draw us back off of our secluded island of Ahto, it would be, in this case, a trailer for the much anticipated The Last Jedi. So, Alex, how you doing? Did you see the trailer?
No, I'm just walking in to hear you talk about it. No, yes, I saw the trailer.
That's the end of the episode. Then.
That's
we don't have
it.
Much else to talk about.
It's just Jordan. It's just him describing scene by scene because my internet is so bad. I can't even YouTube anymore.
That could be a good idea for a podcast. It's just somebody explains things that nobody else.
Yeah, it's just like an entire movie. Like if you want to watch a movie in the car, you just have like a podcast of a guy reading the description of everything, and then Kylo Ren, with his hair wet and his eyes angry, screams, "You need a teacher!" Like
it's like terrible fan fiction novelizations of the same trailer.
Yeah. But so I watched the trailer. I posted my live reaction on our Facebook. You can go check it out if you really want to see my face and me going, "Oh wow, that's cool." And I say some other smart stuff later, but that's mostly what it is.
Debatable.
Yeah. So Tosche's back. It's good to be back. We didn't just completely abandon this. There was a lot of things that came up in life. I moved. I went to Japan. I got a car. That car got wrecked, and then I got another car. Jordan's been off doing stuff, but we're back. The trailer's here. The what?
Oh, I just said same car. You switched cars. I was like, and Jordan's back, but he's had the same car the whole time.
He's had the same car. It's me. It's me who has had the car problems, and they're over now. So finally, we can talk about Star Wars again, which is all we really wanted to do. And life just gets in the way of Star Wars, man. That's not how it's supposed to be.
I know. We should get rid of this whole life thing and just focus on this main other thing.
I mean, really, like I'm willing to give up Christmas. Like December's not a Christmas month anymore. Like who cares? It's Star Wars.
No, who are my family? Who cares anymore? Okay. So Alex, you've inspired me. I think I'm gonna walk us through the trailer and treat you when I'm explaining stuff as if you haven't seen it, because I think that would be really funny. Are you ready for this?
Oh, go for it. That makes this that just takes this up to a 10, even higher.
I know, because I get to use my acting. Okay. So
there you go.
Are you ready? Are you ready to start? Yeah, you are.
Start off.
I see it in your face. We start out and we have some ominous John Williams music, as he always composes original music for these trailers, which is unheard of and excellent. Kylo's looking out over this Imperial base. You've got some sparks flying down. Snoke narrating. He's like, I can't do the voice. When I found you, I found raw, untamed strength. Blah,
ain't bad.
Blah, blah. Nah, it's fine. Apes together strong.
That was better. That was actually better. That was
same voice, different character. You see those new Imperial walkers that look like speaking of apes, they kind of look like gorillas.
Yeah, they have like those like huge are those like drills? It looks like are those like mining walkers? I don't know.
Maybe they're just walking fracking devices.
Yeah, maybe they just like chainsaw everything as they walk up to it. I don't know.
I actually have heard that part of that design might be they're the Imperial Walker four-legged kind of prototype, but then they can more easily pick themselves up if they get tripped by tow cables.
Oh, that's ingenious.
Like, 'cause they might have more limber joints and stuff. So I feel like a shot of
Uh-huh.
this might be they try the old Empire thing of toppling them over, and then they just get
Uh-huh. Beep, beep, beep. It's like a car jack, just like chicka, chicka, chicka,
really,
chicka.
so all these little stormtroopers run up. All right, get it up.
Get it up, guys. It's like a pit
Um,
stop.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so that's a possibility. Then we see some kind of diamond mine, which we'll get to. That keeps coming back many times in the trailer. It's sort of a red mine, probably the same planet, if I'm guessing, because
Yeah, well, because I also wondered if it's diamond or if it's like Kyber.
Kyber. Where I was gonna get into that later, but
Yeah.
we have one thing.
Yeah,
in the Star
I mean,
Wars
I think
universe so far that we've already established has mines of very important crystals.
exactly.
and
Like, if there's
Kyber.
one thing that Rogue One really did, is that it cemented the importance and power of Kyber crystals. And
Yes.
I feel like if they didn't release Rogue One and they just did The Last Jedi, and it's like, why the hell are they mining for these crystals? Who cares about these? What do these crystals do? But since we all watched Rogue One, we know exactly what those crystals do. They blow up planets. So that's my money. It's Kyber. It's a Kyber mine.
And that reminds me, you actually brought up a point a long time ago when we were talking about Force Awakens after Rogue One. You said now you're thinking that maybe what Starkiller Base was doing was sucking the Kyber out of planets or out of stars.
If it's like the core of a planet.
Yeah, exactly. So this could just be continuity based on that. So yeah, little theory, little sidebar. Last little bit of that though, that Snoke narration. We cut to Rey igniting her lightsaber. She's doing a lot of lightsaber action in this trailer. You get a lot of sweet lightsaber humming effects, but
yes, all those sweet hums.
I almost just called you Kylo. So Alex, what did you
Oh my
think?
God.
What did you think of this whole Snoke narration about Kylo, Rey, all of that? Any impressions?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I love the lighting and in all the shots that they show with this. I like a consistent theme throughout this trailer is highlighting the parallels and the contrasts between Kylo and Rey. And we'll get into it a little bit more later. But like, basically, it establishes that they're sort of like the same in terms of power, and yet
yes,
we see shots keep going back and forth from Kylo to Rey, Kylo to Rey, Kylo to Rey, and but what's really interesting is if you look at the shots themselves, like how different their environments are. Like there's the shot of I posted it on our Twitter, and I think it looks really good. Like there's a shot of Kylo, and behind him is like this like red LED window, and all the black of like Starkiller Base or wherever he is now. And it's very mechanical and feels, very Darth Vader-esque, very dark side, Imperial, mechanic, soulless, all that, and red, evil red. And then we cut to Rey, and she's in total opposite setting. She's surrounded by nature. It's blue. It's a sky, so it's a natural blue. And so I just like what they were doing with that in terms of everything, cutting back and forth between Kylo and Rey. And it just goes to show how masterfully this trailer was cut and put together, that they really cemented that idea.
Yeah, they think about these shots a lot ahead of time. And that's probably my biggest full takeaway from this trailer is not one moment, but it is how much they seem to be banking on Kylo being as much of a main character as Rey in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like she is still hero protagonist lady. Like she
hero protagonist lady.
She still gets to walk
you mean
through
heroine?
all this. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to drill home the point that it's like
yeah.
The
No,
archetype.
I like that title, hero protagonist lady.
Hero protagonist lady person. And Kylo in the first one he plays the part of the Vader or the villain. But if you look at the trailer for the poster for Last Jedi, not the most recent one, but the last one, it's like basically just three faces: Luke's face, Kylo Ren's face, and Rey on the ground with a lightsaber sort of bisecting them. So I think that should show us who's going to have the most focus. Like that's true for all the posters, mainly. Like trailers were saying, oh yeah, Finn, he's the main character. But if you look at the poster, Rey is bigger than Finn on the poster. So shows the importance there. But yeah,
totally.
That's true. And the thing that stuck out to me about the narration, we'll get into it more after, is that Kylo and Rey are both called raw by their respective narrators. They both have this raw strength. So yeah, we'll we'll get into that more with the next bit here. So next thing we see, Rey is meditating. The shot we already saw, like Alex, the rubble is floating up, that sort of Man of Steel shot.
Yeah, the Man of Steel shot.
But actually, she like breaks the island. I don't know how much she breaks the island, but it's enough to scare the shit out of Luke. Like,
yeah, what was
Luke
she doing? Like, with her lightsaber slash, is she also like force pushing at the same time? Like,
no, those are two different moments.
Okay, they cut them together. There's a lot of misleading cuts like put together to look like they're similar, and we'll talk about those more as they come up. But I feel like the trailer's full of it, like shots that look like they're
left and right.
Yeah, like you were just saying, like the Snoke narration. It could have easily been people. I mean, it's the way it's framed is it's as if he's talking to Kylo, but he could easily be talking to Rey and saying the same thing. So I think there's a lot of shots in this trailer where it's like, oh, these two things are put right next to each other. You assume they're the same scene, but are they really? I don't know. But yeah, she breaks the island. Either way, either with a lightsaber or by just standing around. She breaks an island.
Yeah, it's like she's sitting there sort of doing the meditation pose crisscross with her eyes closed. The island fractures, Luke's eyes get really wide, and it's cut with him saying, I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then, but it does now. And then we see presumably the flashback of the whole whatever went down with the Jedi Academy getting destroyed. We see Luke emerging from rubble in like a Terminator shot almost. His robotic hand grasps it out of the rubble.
His robot hand really does look like a Terminator. Like the scene where like it shows him grab the lightsaber. It's a little hilarious.
Yeah, there's all these like little gears in there that they can only animate nowadays because they have CGI to show all the detail.
Yeah, back then it was like, oh, he just wears a glove.
Don't worry about it. He's got there's already skin.
It's a robot under there. Don't ask about it.
Yeah. No, but I just wanted to say about this. Luke is surprisingly way more angry than I thought he would be.
Yeah.
Like it's like escalating. The last trailer, everyone was surprised. Luke wants the Jedi to end, but this trailer seems to imply that he's like he doesn't even want. He's like afraid of her because he doesn't want to train her, and he thinks she's like too powerful to be worth training. It's like a big liability. So, it makes you think about that. Like if he did go through something where not only was his Jedi Academy destroyed, but he was literally buried under rubble. There's a lot he's been through, and a lot that's making him tentative. So
yeah, he feels very much like bitten once, twice shy. Like he's clearly alluding to Kylo, and he says, "I've seen this once before, and it didn't scare me then. It scares me now." It's him saying like, "I don't want to do this again." Basically, is like she's going up to him like, "Please train me," and he's like, "No, I did this. It didn't work out. That's why I ran." And he's being basically forced to confront this again, which I think is ultimately good for his character arc. But he's going to resist it. Like no one wants to do the thing that they, like everyone in some point in their life has had something like traumatic happen to them. And the one thing they then never want to do is that thing again. And I feel like this is Luke's thing.
Yeah, it's his thing. And it's probably the thing that made Mark Hamill the most frustrated.
Yeah.
About because there's stuff that Mark Hamill's been saying, like Disney's kind of shut him up now, but he kept whenever he was interviewed saying like, when I first read the Last Jedi script, I was like, whoa, this is not the direction I would have taken Luke in. Like I would not think that of Luke, that he would be so tentative probably to train this new person. But in my opinion, knowing the things I do about the story and the character, I think that Mark Hamill is just attached to Luke being as good as he was at the end of Return of the Jedi, like because that's the last place that he got to bring the character before this new trilogy. So for a second, it must have been jarring to him to pick this up and have to, whoa, I'm gonna have to act Luke as more flawed than I had imagined. But I think ultimately it will be more interesting. Like
I think I agree. I think it's going to be better for the story, and it's like it's what needs to happen. I mean, I've always said that Han was the new Obi-Wan of this trilogy, and Luke is the new Yoda. I mean, look what happened to Yoda in the prequels. He was the master, and he gets his ass kicked, goes into hiding on a planet, and he's hesitant to train and get back into it. And he's sort of reconnecting with the Force, and he feels like that's more fulfilling. And I feel like Luke's basically doing the same now. Things kind of come full circle. I guess that's what happens to you when you become a Jedi Master. You hate the youngins, and you just want to like sit and meditate with your porgs. um, but yeah, I think actually I'm expecting a lot of fans, a lot of like old Star Wars fans, to be a little pissed with where they're taking Luke, because I feel like everyone sees Luke as like the hero. Everyone has imagined themselves as Luke Skywalker, running around with a lightsaber, saving the day. Especially, like I love Return of the Jedi because Luke's such a badass in that movie. And it's going to break my heart a little to see Luke so beaten down. Like that's the thing, we keep seeing him in all the trailers. He just seems so beaten down. Like a lot of these shots are him like literally on the ground, under rubble, on his knees in that pool, saying this isn't going to go the way you think. And he seems just like downtrodden. And
a little bit of Joker getting in that voice. It's a very dark.
A little that the Hamill malice right there. So yeah, like I know my dad was really, when he knew there was like new trilogy coming up, he really wanted to see like the old gang back together. And I think a lot of people wanted to see like, everyone just as happy and like strong as they were in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Just like, again, at least a little bit, a glimpse of that. And I think this trilogy is really planting a flag and saying like, no, that's not what happens. Time changes us all, sometimes for the better, but sometimes for the worse, or sometimes just, it doesn't matter what you've done. You've had other experiences that change you as a person, and sometimes the result isn't always great.
And it's the job of a screenwriter to torture your characters. That's like
a
known.
Oh yeah. If you're not going to torture them, what's the point?
It just if the movie happens and they didn't have to go through something that was the most challenging thing for them, then what's the point? And that's what Rian Johnson has said. That's where he started with writing the script. Yep. Was he wrote down all the names of the characters that he saw in Force Awakens, and he was like, what would make this character freak out the most? And this is Luke's freak out the most. Good segue though, because Kylo's thing that seems to be freaking him out the most is flying. In this trailer, he flies his ship doing some flips, and he seemingly goes up to a resistance ship that has Leia Organa, his mom, on the ship, and he's deciding whether he's going to launch some missiles at the ship and kill his mom. That's the way the trailer presents it, with a little bit of narration of him talking to himself in the trailer, but it probably isn't himself, saying, let the past die, kill it if you have to.
He probably says that to his helmet. Like he has this Hamlet moment to his helmet. Alas, poor Kylo, I knew thee well. Kill it, become stronger.
Kill the helmet. It's like a diary entry.
Yeah.
So, Alex, can you guess why this was my favorite moment of the trailer?
Because you called it. He's a big old mama's boy.
You knew it. I know.
Yeah, of course. As soon as I saw that, like, I mean, obviously, seeing Carrie Fisher again, it's been almost a year, but it still tugs at the heartstrings. And so it's even worse to see like Kylo literally honing in on her, and like he has his like finger on the button. It could be bleeding again. Like there's nothing else that would make Kylo tear up at this point in his than the thought of killing his mother, who he was probably closer to than his father. And so yeah, so I think that's going to be a big emotional moment for him. And I hashtag let Kylo be evil. So I'm really liking his mantra of like, kill the past, become the present, become stronger. It's a really toxic mindset to have. Don't think that in real life, but it makes a compelling villain. So that's good. I'm a little sad he's breaking the mask. We've talked about this. I love the helmet. I love helmets. They always look cool. They always remind me of like, knights in shining armor. And I always thought he was cooler and scarier and more evil with the mask. But I'm hoping that him getting rid of it is him saying, like, I'm comfortable without it anymore. Like, I don't need it. It was a crutch. I'm comfortable that I'm evil enough on my own now. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I'm hoping that's what he's moving towards. And finally, like, killing Leia is sort of like with Han is like a test. Like, it's one thing to kill like your dad you haven't seen in 17 years. It's another thing to kill the person you probably loved most in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what actually happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if this time he hesitates, because it is Leia and because it is his mom, and it's more. That's probably harder for him to do.
Yeah.
It's probably easier for him to like lie to Snoke about, like, oh, sorry, the ship went to hyperdrive. Whereas like with Han, he has no excuse for not killing him. It's like he's literally right there,
Yeah.
asking for it. So yeah. Although my dad's gonna be pissed if he kills Leia too. My dad was so broken that Han died, especially at the hands of his own son, that if Leia dies, if the new trilogy is just like Kylo Ren killing one of like the big three each movie, and then like he kills Luke in the third one, like my dad's gonna like lose his shit. And
I would lose my shit too, but just because I can't, this new trilogy can't end with everybody being dead. I would just hate that so much. Maybe that's just
at the same time, it's totally possible though. I mean, Yoda dies, Obi-Wan dies, all the mentors have to die. Like
they
that's
weren't main characters in trilogies that took place before this.
The prequels. Retroactively, they were.
Yeah, you guys can't see Alex's face. He's giving me the nerdiest like finger look.
The nerd.
Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. The Igor like head, no neck.
Arch. Yeah. So my comment on this moment is that I absolutely was right. Haha. No, I mean it looks like he is much more torn up by this decision than he was about Han. In Han's death scenario, he's telling his dad like will you help me? And I think what that means to him in that moment is just like grab onto the lightsaber and like kind of act like you're fighting back so that I can have a little bit of anger to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And all of his mad rage and instability happens after the fact, after he already does it. But in this case, Leia, he's having all of those feelings before even deciding on it. His lips quivering. And to us as knowing that Carrie Fisher has passed away, there she is looking beautiful, just looking at the camera like an innocent little puppy, and you're like,
oh,
don't you fucking do it. And he's not going to do it. I firmly believe he won't do it. And the reason is that I mean, I guess it could be considered a spoiler, but he's got this like tape on his scar that looks like it's
mesh
patching it up. And then in other shots in the trailer, he does not have that. So that sets up this sort of timeline of like maybe that scene of him going to kill Leia is towards the beginning. It's like, all right, you killed Han, go kill Leia. And he's still fresh
immediately,
off his scar. And he's like, fuck, I can't. And she's in way more of the movie than just that like beginning part.
That's true. Maybe he hesitates because he can't kill both parents in one weekend, you know. You got to space that shit out.
Man. I'm you got the last parental murder.
You can't just like 2 for 1 that crap. You can't do it. It doesn't matter how hard you are. Although I will say, before we move on, I really like seeing Kylo in the starship.
Oh yeah,
and like shooting a bunch of stuff. Like he had like his big like V-wing thing that's like the private cruiser, but I'm glad he has like his own TIE fighter, because like he's got the blood of Anakin Skywalker and Han Solo in him.
Yippee!
Like he try spinning. That's a cool trick.
He does. He really does.
He literally spins. He literally spins.
Lots
he thinks it's a cool trick. He always spins with his lightsaber too. Yeah. So it's cool just to see that he's just as cool as a starfighter as both of his, ancestors are. I think it'd be interesting to see him clash with Poe. Like he looks really good at flying in that scene. I wonder how they compare.
Yeah, that's true. I did get that sense. I hadn't even considered while watching Force Awakens that he should be a great pilot, because he never really gets in a ship that we see him flying himself. He just sort of emerges from other ships. But yeah, if you think about it, if your freaking dad is Han Solo, you're gonna be spending a lot of time in the Millennium Falcon, and you're gonna be at least absorbing a lot of what your dad does by osmosis. Just sitting in that cockpit with Han and Chewie. And there is a deleted scene in Force Awakens where he goes into the Falcon and he has like a moment. So
yeah, he's
history of him.
He's probably flown the thing himself.
Oh yeah,
maybe, I don't know. If
How
Han
bad?
likes
Everybody
kids
gets to fly.
touching
The
his.
Falcon just gets to fly. Everybody gets to have a go.
Yeah, everybody gets one. Everyone gets at least one Falcon ride, one Falcon drive.
I know. Break a little part
You know.
off of it. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk though about. Do you think that dialogue is really being said to Rey later in the trailer? Do you think that makes sense if Kylo's telling Rey, "Let her past die"?
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Because he's talking to somebody,
Yeah.
and that seems to be the only other time when he's advising somebody anything is right
Kill
at
the
the
past,
end,
let it
you
go.
know?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like, at the end, Ray says, like, I need someone to tell me like where I fit. And that could be his like speech to her, like, drop what you're doing, join me, I know what to do. Like I was saying, like at the end, when he like extends the hand, that it's basically like Darth Vader at the end of Empire being like, join me and we'll take over the galaxy as father and son. It's sort of the same. Like he's saying, like, join me. Like you were this girl, this scavenger, you don't know what you're doing. Luke doesn't want to train you because he didn't want to train me. Like he's a punk now. I know what's up.
Yeah.
And
that's
that could be that's his pitch. Nailed down. Like the Spark Notes version. But I hope and I like to think that's like his mantra and pep talk to himself, that he has to keep reminding himself, be better, or be worse, I guess. Don't worry about what you were. You're this now. You're not Ben Solo anymore. You're Kylo Ren. You don't need this helmet anymore. You are like a Sith Lord now.
Yeah.
Like you can smash the helmet. You can shoot down your own mom. You can do all these things. You rule now. And
I think it could easily be both. I think
either way,
you could be advising somebody in the second person and have it be clearly about you as well. Like,
oh yeah, he could. I mean, yeah, he could be saying that to Rey as his pitch at the end, because that's also the things he tells himself. So he's assuming it'll work for her too.
Totally. And she has so many issues in her past that she would do well to let go of, like issues about where she comes from. And that sort of ties into the whole Rey fandom theory thing. If he's literally telling her, like, fuck all the theories, screw everybody talking about who your parents are, it doesn't matter, kill it, move forward.
Yeah, become your own person. Knight of Ren.
A commentary about that, about the whole theorizing about who she is, where she comes from.
That's true. I mean, I guess that's a theme of the new trilogy. The past doesn't matter as much as you think it does. It doesn't matter that you killed the Empire because the First Order's back. It doesn't matter that Luke's a badass because now he's really sad. It's sort of a depressing way to take it, but it's a theme.
Yeah.
But what's the opposite of depressing though? The Porg.
The Porg.
That's our segue. The Porg.
Alec, because you didn't watch the trailer, let me explain to you the next shot.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just very very prescient. I just tell
you're picking up on a lot of visual imagery from very sparse descriptions that I'm giving you.
The new trilogy is so predictable. I haven't even seen the trailer, but I know what's going to happen. I just know. Okay. Continue. Tell me about the trailer.
Okay, so this is probably the most classic Star Wars, least emotional, turn off your brain kind of action little section of the trailer, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you have Chewie and a Porg all together in the Millennium Falcon cruising down one of those mines, which is just like the Death Star like piping or whatever they fly through in Return of the Jedi. It's exactly the right space to like barely fit the ship through it. And the Porg gives a little Porg screech, so we hear what they sound like. Poe Dameron gives this little speech about a spark that'll burn the First Order down. Seems like he's up to same old Poe Dameron business. Like, I'm a badass and like I'm all about taking down the First Order, just like the last movie. Some things never change, folks. And then it finishes with Finn versus Phasma in a very epic looking, probably some kind of end battle, because they're not just fighting each other with these shock batons, but like stuff's exploding all around them.
It almost looks like they're like in space. I mean, they're clearly not, but it looks like that star fight that's like that Poe was in and BB-8's getting shocked by something. It almost looks like the same backdrop. Like stuff's going down. when they fight.
Yeah, yeah, it's gotta be climactic because Finn meeting up with Phasma is um like should go eventually. So it's nice to see that they're actually taking it there. Because
Mhm.
if you don't like read up on canon, it's fine. They should have explained this in the movie, but they didn't. Phasma and Finn have this connection because Phasma apparently was the one that trained his whole like battalion of First Order stormtroopers. Finn was the best among them. He was had the most promise. So just leaving is like you're abandoning your post. You could have been a contender. Basically. Traitor. Exactly. You couldn't say it better than that. So yeah, Alex, what do you think of all of that stuff?
I like the porg. I don't care what anybody else says. Some people are already hating on cute things. Let Star Wars be cute sometimes. It's okay.
I didn't think the
Kids
CGI
kids see this movie too.
Yet. I think
Yeah, well, I think it looks good on its own, but I see your notes that like next to Chewie, who's a practical effect, it does look off. Like that was like my big problem with the movie Warcraft. I mean, I had a lot of problems with the movie Warcraft, but the biggest one is that like the orcs looked amazing, but he put them next to a real person, and you can clearly tell they're fake and that they're not in the same space together. It's a little bit the same idea with the Porg and Chewie. It's sort of like why Maz Kanata looked out of place in her own cantina because she was the one CGI amongst all this practical stuff. And
true.
but I mean, he still looks cute. Like you can get over it, I guess. And it's nice that Chewie has a pet now, I guess. Like to help him get through the hard times of a lonely cockpit.
One.
That'd be hilarious. He tries to eat it, and then like it scampers away, and he learns to respect it.
No, I'm not kidding.
Guess.
There's like a set photo of Chewie with a feather sticking out of his mouth.
So, really? Oh, that's awesome.
I think there's some shenanigans where maybe it's not dark enough where he actually ends up eating it, but he probably tries to, and then they're like, Chewie, spit it back up.
Yeah. I could tell that's some good that's classic comedy right there. Your monster, like your dog trying to eat the bird, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the Porg. I expect him to sell many toys and to be much needed comedic relief in this otherwise dark film.
Mm-hmm.
So with Poe, I feel like, and I felt like this in the first movie too, that Poe, out of all the new characters, is the most already like mature and grounded. Like he knows what he wants. He knows what he's about. He's driven. He seems like the most confident in himself and the most mature. So I feel like he's the most stable character and he's likable as a result of that, but he also doesn't have too much room to grow. And I
put that down as well. Like, what do you think his character arc really could be?
I don't think he's gonna have much other than want to kill the First Order and be happy when the First Order goes away. And right. I don't think he really needs much more than that. So that's fine because he's not as big a character in the movie. So I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. Like like Mon Mothma in like the first trilogy is just calm and serene and wants the Empire to go away. Biggs and all of Luke's friends just want to shoot down some stormtroopers and want the Empire to go away, and it's sort of the same idea.
Poe is like beefed up role version of Wedge Antilles.
Yeah, he's cool Wedge. He's Biggs plus Wedge.
Yeah, Wedge with more screen time, who interacts more with the characters, but is just as like static as Wedge, probably.
Basically, unless he really does have a steamy romance with Finn, then that'll be his character arc.
And what an arc it would be.
Yeah, so we'll see where the romances go. Oh my god, people are talking so much romance about the end shot. We'll get to it, but this just reminded me.
Okay.
Speaking of the opposite of romance, Finn and Phasma, that fight looks amazing. Like that's the fight. Could be a romance. Maybe she's like an ex. Maybe there's like an extra wrinkle there. There's
a little height difference though. It's a little jarring.
A little. Yeah. I mean, Gwendolyn Christie. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she's really tall, but
woman.
But Finn's still cool.
He's no Tormund though.
Yeah, he's no Tormund though.
Game of Thrones references. If you're with it, fans.
Yes, you should be. But yeah, and so just like that scene, like that's what like the traitor fight should have been. Like everything. That was my big complaint about Phasma. Is in the first movie she didn't get to do much, and I feel like that fight with Traitor could have easily been Phasma and had the same sort of things happening, except for getting blasted and killed by the Chewbacca bowcaster. But other than that, like those narrative beats could have been the same and better if it was Phasma. So I'm glad they're doing it with this one. And I think it's interesting because this is the first like sword fight duel that I think we're seeing in Star Wars that's not lightsabers. Like he's got the traitor like whirly electric stick, and she's got like some kind of staff. And so I think that's going to be really interesting to watch because it'll feel familiar enough, but different because it's different rules when you're not fighting lightsabers and you can't just like slice through everything. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. Almost, I mean, not more than the Kylo Rey fight because I know it's going to happen and it's going to be awesome. But I feel like the one that's less predictable by far is going to be the Finn Phasma fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because I know that will look cool and that it should, from a story point of view, finally happen. I just really need more backstory for their connection to care.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hoping we'll get more of it because like you can see Finn is in like an officer outfit when he's fighting her, so I'm expecting he's going undercover. And I know the synopsis. He's supposed to go undercover with what's her name? Yeah, Rose, the new character by Kelly Marie Tran, right? And I feel like them being undercover, he's gonna be like an open book and be like, yeah, and this is where we did this, and Phasma told me I was stupid and hit me, and then to make me a stronger stormtrooper, and I don't like her anymore. Blah blah blah. And I expect we'll get it through like that.
Yeah, that could be an organic way to do it versus they're fighting and they're just like yelling the.
It's like an anime, like you weren't there for me when I hated you.
You weren't there for me on exactly this day, triggering a flashback. Hey, audience, check this out, and just young little
cuts
Finn.
away. Young little.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Another scene that jumps right back into the drama happens right after that. You have Luke in the rain. Alex, you know Luke Skywalker, one of your favorite characters. He's in the rain, which is when clouds fill up with water and they rain. This is a probably continuation of the Knights of Ren flashback. All of these things are seen in Rey's flashback in Force Awakens. All the Knights of Ren standing there in the rain. Luke's very seriously threatening, this is not going to go the way you think. It looks like he's on the ground, like
beaten down again.
It's a theme for him. We see some ice foxes, like
hashtag ice wolves.
hashtag ice wolves.
I don't know what they are, but I love them. They look so cool.
I don't know how else to explain it. They seem to be on the same planet as Crate. It's called the one with the new Imperial walkers. Leia seems to be there with the First Order or with the Resistance. And why these ice foxes would be on a planet that appears to be kind of warm, I don't know. Maybe it's not warm. Maybe it just looks orange, but it's actually really cold.
Well, maybe it's not ice. Maybe they're Kyber wolves. Kyber wolves. Hashtag awesome. Kyber wolves. Living Kyber. You like unleash them and they turn into like moving lightsabers and they run through stuff to slice it.
That's the sound they make while running around.
Yeah, they scream as they move forward.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
And Luke is not skipping out on the Yoda tradition of making your trainee do ridiculous stuff. So he's just, hey, swim in that water. Like, yeah, and he's dry. Obviously, he's just on the side. Like, yeah, do it. Paint the fence. Wax on.
Go in the cave. Lift the rock. Lift it again. Lift the bigger rock.
And now you're Jedi. Congratulations. That's all you needed to do.
Carry me on your back and do a backflip.
I'm still hoping for that.
That'd be hilarious, right?
So, I just wanted to start by saying, Luke in the rain, looking furious. That is really exciting to me because I really hope that this is his warning before Luke unleashes all hell on the Knights of Ren. And in my mind, that's the scene where they're all dead because Luke killed them all.
Yeah.
I would like if that warning was saying, hey, Knights of Ren, you better not attack me because I'm Luke Skywalker and I'll F you up. But also, he's specifically warning his nephew, like, hey, Kylo, or hey, Ben, you think that this is a good idea to turn to the dark side and go with these people and go with Snoke, but I'm capable of more than you know, And I know the dark side, and I've seen what it does to people. So this whole thing is not going to go the way you think. Reconsider your actions right now.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna. But this is without a doubt going to be a very intense scene, probably in flashback. He still looks.
Yeah,
McKenna
I mean,
still looks older because it's only 6 years before Force Awakens. But but yeah,
I think the coolest scenario is like you said, if that's like his like badass one-liner to the Knights of Ren. Like they've knocked him down, they've killed all his students, and he's saying, "This isn't going to go the way you think. I'm still Luke Skywalker." Pulls out the green saber, like destroys them all. That'd be cool. I want at least one scene of badass Luke. Give us just one. He can get beaten down later, but I just want to see it for my own satisfaction to know that Luke Skywalker is still like the best. You know. Because so much of this trailer is so depressing whenever we see him. He's just like, nothing's worth it anymore. Looks like he picked up a book by Nietzsche and he's just out of commission now. So I want to see him kick at least one ass, and that'd be a good scene. At least one ass. One, maybe two asses. At least one cheek, one lightsaber strike across.
It's gotta be 2 cheeks. If we're talking cheeks,
it's gotta be a full ass. He's gotta kick a full ass.
One ass. We've solved it.
Okay.
That's math, folks.
Yeah, that's math. That's butt math right there.
Hashtag
butt math. This is why you listen to us, right, guys? Hashtag butt math. So yeah, I think it's also this is what I mean by this trailer can be so misleading, because he could be saying that to the Knights of Ren, like, I'm gonna kick your ass. He could be saying this to Kylo, like, this is a bad idea, don't do it. I also think he could be talking to Rey here. Like, this could be like the moment where she's running off, like, I'm hot shit now. You trained me a bit. You said I'm unnaturally strong. I can go handle things myself, Luke. And she goes off to fight. And it's him saying, this isn't going to go the way you think. Your hand's going to get chopped off. This is what happened to me. Like, because like I said, he's sort of the new Yoda. And Yoda warned Luke, don't go. Like, you're not ready. You can't do this yet. And what does Luke do? He's arrogant. He thinks he's a Jedi. And he goes off, gets his hand chopped off.
And
so I think
especially like poignant too, because he in this movie has no skin over the hand, which is
he's displaying it. He's displaying the robot hand. His injury
to her and like look at this, like look at what happened to me.
Yeah, I think that would be real, sort of tragically full circle for him to like watch like Rey go and like realize like, oh shit, like this is what happened. This is how Yoda must have felt when I did this. So I feel like that'd be the saddest possible way that scene plays out. But I also think it's possible that, like, you know, because like later on we see Rey confronting Snoke. Like, why else would she do that unless she thinks that she can do it? So my leading theory is that, you know, Luke trains her, tells her she's really strong, doesn't want to train her anymore. So then she gets frustrated and she's like, well, since I'm so strong anyway, I can just do things on my own. I don't need you anymore. And then goes off and gets her ass kicked. Hashtag butt math. And then yeah.
Well, it's got to be really tough for her because she knows she's incredibly powerful. Everybody's telling her as much, but because of stuff that happened in these people's lives before she even came into the fold, she's being told like, sorry, I'm denying you information and I'm not going to train you.
That's just like being a millennial, isn't it? Right.
I mean, we've all been there. We all have the same.
It truly is the Star Wars for a new generation.
But like
when you feel like you're extra powerful, but all the old people are telling you, sorry, I don't have time to put up with you.
That's why we can relate to Rey so much.
Yep.
Just the shot though, I didn't mention it before, but after Luke says, like I've seen this before, I'll never do this again. It cuts back to Rey and she's just sitting on the rock and she looks like devastated. Like her whole dream, she's always wanted to meet Luke Skywalker her entire life. And here is Luke Skywalker, her idol, basically saying like, screw off. Like, I can't do this. And I do think he is going to train her more than in that moment. I think he's going to be like, okay, I'm still going to train you. I'm still going to have you jump in a little river and look at these
climb through a foggy mountain,
crack some more mountains in half. But I don't think she's ever going to forget about that. And I think that's going to stay prevalent in their relationship, is going to be like, he is training her, but he is holding her back. And he is coddling and maybe being patronizing, maybe mansplaining the Force, if you will.
Mansplaining the Force. These are midichlorians.
Sense that this movie, as Ryan Johnson has said, is about meeting your idols. That's
Yeah.
the theme. That's the main theme, is your idols aren't always what you hoped that they would be.
Totally.
So
And
yeah,
that's what we get with Luke.
I hadn't considered that him in the rain could be talking to Rey, but it would work. It could work in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like he's gonna be like, okay, sure, I'll train you. You came out all this way, and then he starts training her, and then she cracks the island, and he's like, nope, can't do it anymore. Sorry. And that's when she starts. That's when there's like sort of a divide between them. Is that when he refuses to like. At first, like she feels like she's been like hit twice. At first, she walks up. Luke says no, and she asks again. And he says final right, and they train, and then she gets really good at it, and then he says no again. And I feel like that's gonna cause some tension between the two of them.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of uncertainty there, because I'm not sure if the shot where he's actually looking at her and telling her never again is the same moment as when she breaks the mountain. Like, it
True.
looks like he's in a different room and there's some sort of circular inscription on the ground.
It might be the same room, like the same cave where he tells her like, all I know is the Jedi must end. Like it looks like maybe that's just his house, and that's why there's like some shots in that cave area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely at least later or earlier than the island cracking.
Yeah, because who knows, like, that we might think that he's scared that she can crack the mountain in half, but maybe there's something much worse that she can do that scares him off. Like maybe something regarding like the dark side, or she has a vision and her vision is like really screwed up, or it involves her turning to the dark side.
Maybe she just like shoots lightning at a porg, just like accidentally.
I mean, yeah, like maybe she just has the dark side in her, and that's too much for him to see that happening again. It's like, whoa.
Oh yeah, there's one thing.
Start with you.
If there's one thing that Luke would be traumatized by, it's Force lightning. Oh man, I didn't even consider that.
Has PTSD about getting almost murdered by the Emperor.
Yeah, I mean that must be terrifying. He's like the one guy. I mean, I guess Anakin survives it too from Dooku, but like
it's not as much. It's way briefer.
Yeah, it's way briefer. Like Luke's on the brink of death via Sith lightning. Like he knows that pain. So if somehow Rey manifests that, Luke would not want to touch that at all.
Yeah. We're just coming up with a lot of really good ideas here, and I have more.
Yeah, we're just
Alex, because we.
Oh, it's endless. Like that's what I love about this trailer is that it was so masterful, and that like it gave us a lot of things to tease the mind and see like, okay, there's amazing looking shots here. There's going to be some awesome fights, but then all the other scenes that we see there and all bits of dialogue just make us like wonder and fervently like ask questions, and like we all crave to have these answers, and that just gets more excited for the movie.
And is Luke saying, this is not going to go the way you think? Does that not also refer to the whole trailer? Like, it's sort of like this commentary.
Yeah.
I read this thing like he's basically talking to us like, none of this is what you're thinking it's going to be. So stop trying to guess.
Yeah, like Kylo handing out his hands to Rey. This isn't going to go how you think.
Okay. Finally, all trailers pretty much culminate with the coolest stuff at the end. So while my favorite emotional moment was Leia and Kylo, this ending took me completely by surprise.
Oh yeah,
I watched your reaction. You too. You were like, "Oh,
yeah,"
because Snoke is just torturing Rey, and it's Snoke in person, like not hologram Snoke. Like
that's him. That's big guy.
Full CGI Andy Serkis mocap Snoke. And I see you wrote down. We kept saying hashtag Snoke
choke. Hashtag Snoke choke.
But it's more than choking. It's like
full body back,
when
like
Kylo
bending.
is trying to get information out of Poe, and he makes him feel like his head is gonna explode. It's like doing that to Rey, but her entire body while levitating her in the air.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying, I said this in my reaction too. It looks basically like Kylo has that power to like stop people like in the air, and like they just like freeze up. It looks like that, but even more powerful because they're like bending back. Mm-hmm. It looks like he can just like crush people and like twist them around like a doll, which is, terrifying and powerful. And I think it's cool because it's sort of like the Emperor's lightning, and that it's like his like superpower, but it's different. And yet, but it's still just as scary to watch.
Yeah, it's more like minimal, but it looks way more painful somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it feels more reminiscent of like Darth Vader's choke, you know.
Mhm.
I've always thought like the Force choking is like as scary, if not more so, than lightning. I mean,
Mhm.
lightning is obviously more painful and more like in your face about it. But I am shooting literal evil. But like the Force, there's something about the Force choke, or the person just like helpless about it. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, and can I just say I just realized this. This is the first actual confirmation that Snoke can use the Force. We didn't even know
Yeah.
that. Like
Oh yeah.
he could have been Kylo's mentor and just knew about how to train somebody
He
that
could have
had
just
the
been like a
Force.
nerd and like read a bunch of books and it's like, okay, do this now. This,
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah, exactly. But it totally went over my head that this is confirmation of that. He appears to be very good at it. And
Yeah.
I thought he looked pretty terrifying in person. Like
Oh yeah.
no
Like
longer a joke. Like he kind of looked a little bit CGI in a bad way with that hologram. Like
yeah.
just another a little bit to me like all the orcs from like The Hobbit. Like
Yeah, he looked like that one angry orc in Return of the King, like the commander orc with one eye who just can't seem to die, the white one.
yeah, yeah, that one. Or more particular for me in The Hobbit, how they weren't people; they were just all CG.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I would say this new Snoke in person still technically, I guess, looks CG, but
Hmm.
it's it works because he's supposed to look so deformed that it's unnerving,
Yeah,
like
I
that
agree.
it could be standing right next to you. Tarkin, I'm a little on the fence about because he that's still supposed to be a fully functioning human being of Peter
Hmm.
Cushing, but it looks like a weird CGI man. This is like supposed to be a human that's so far gone that they can kind of look CGI.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're talking about him using the Force, and like that's always been like a running theme with the dark side that like it corrupts not even the mind but the body too. And I think like how powerful and seeped in the dark side must Snoke be for him to be like that, like twisted and like deformed looking. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really like that was of all the scenes in this trailer, that was the one that got me the most excited. Seeing Snoke, maybe learning a bit more about who he is and what he wants, I think this would be really interesting. And also to me, that was like the biggest flag of like this is different from Empire. Like if this was just
I was just
Empire,
gonna say that.
yeah, like the fact that Rey confronts Snoke is radically different. Like Luke was never even thinking of the Emperor in uh, Empire Strikes Back. He doesn't
Yeah.
confront the Emperor until Return of the Jedi. So like right then and there, like these stakes are higher in the Last Jedi. She's not just confronting Kylo again; she's going straight to the big man. She's trying to like end the whole war on her own, or she's trying to defect straight to the big man all on her own. Either way, it's backfiring, and I feel like her fuck up, trying to be the hero, is going to be way worse than Luke's was in Empire, and so that's just exciting to me.
I think she's gonna turn to the dark side.
Eh, I think it's tempting. It's always tempting. That's the whole point of the dark side. It's tempting, but I still don't think so.
I think she's gonna. I don't know that she's gonna like
Mhm.
beyond a reasonable doubt because we don't. Luke's sitting there saying this is not gonna be what you expect, and it probably isn't.
Yeah.
But I just think. Well, first I'll say the next thing that happens. The final shot of the trailer
Yeah.
is Kylo holding his hand out towards Rey. After Rey says, "I need someone to show me my place in all this."
We assume he's extending his hand out towards Rey. We don't know. Misdirection.
Well, okay, but let's clarify that. Who else would he be possibly extending his hand towards? Do you think?
The Porg.
Okay,
Who doesn't want that?
no, but the Porg you'd use two hands in sort of a cradle,
You
jumping
cradle
in a
him.
hand motion. His hand, it almost looks like he's asking somebody to hand him a lightsaber. Like it's not.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Just like I kicked your ass, Rey. Now cough it up.
Cough it up. Nah,
Yeah.
I don't buy that either. I'm
I
joking.
don't buy that,
He
but
looks too sincere in that moment. It looks
yeah.
like he's pretty sincere. It's not like I just beat you, hand that shit over.
Yeah, it looks almost comforting. Like you can trust me.
I've
And
entertained all the possibilities, and I can't think of who else it would be. Hux? Probably not. He doesn't like
Hux. No, it would not be Hux. I definitely think it's probably Rey. And like obviously her line, like, I want someone to show me my place. Like I said, I feel like there's gonna be some serious tension between her and Luke. I don't know. See, the thing that's holding me back by saying she's going to turn to the dark side, she's going to join Kylo, is that she hates Kylo right now. She saw him murder Han, and she like screamed about it. She calls him a monster. Like she kicks his ass, and she like hates him by the end of it. And I don't know what Luke could do to make her think he's worse than this guy who murdered his own father.
True.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, she could be just that frustrated. She could, like, Luke can be just that much of a dick, that much of, like, a non-training person, and maybe Kylo's just really persuasive and, like, hey, like, yeah, I did that, and that's awful, but this is, like, you won't be able to use the Force if you're with Luke. You won't do it anymore. You got to be with me. I'll show you what to do. Or maybe she learns more about her parents, and that complicates things further. Maybe that's the thing that sets her over the edge. But, like, to me, that's a big barrier to get over. Like, forgiving Kylo for killing Han, that's what's holding me back from saying that Rey is turning evil. Is just that. Is that how strong of a reaction she has to Han's death in The Force Awakens. That's like my barrier. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's a hard sell for me.
Mm-hmm. But they get us with the backdrops of both scenes being this sort of like campfire or like a fire in the background.
The lighting looks the same. I feel like it is. If it's not, then those are two very similar scenes, and they're very manipulative of how they arrange these shots, which is possible. Yeah. I don't know yet. I think it's the same scene. I think he's offering to have Rey join him, but I feel like she's gonna be tempted, but I feel like at the end she's gonna be like, no, you killed your dad, dude. And at the end, back away from it. And maybe that's why Snoke tries to Snoke choke, because she says no.
What if part of the way that she gets over understanding how awful he was and understanding her whole place in everything is that they are related? They are siblings or they are cousins.
I mean, that's a potential if she's but then
would be a big earth shaker that would allow for her to trust him somehow more in that moment as someone who yearns for a family, rather than Luke having to be like awful to push her away.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they're family, that means she's family with Han too. And then not only did Kylo kill someone who she liked, she killed like her dad or her uncle. Right. And so again, it's just such a big barrier to me, to that idea. Mm-hmm. But it would make a different movie. It would make a totally different. Like, people are saying, I think you said this, that you think they're gonna flip, that like she's gonna go to the dark side.
I might as well say this. So, a lot of people have thought it would be really awesome if the thing that happens that's surprising in this new trilogy is that Kylo turns to the light side and Rey turns to the dark side. Totally subvert your expectations. I think a way to make that happen in this, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, would be, that thing happens at the beginning where Kylo tries to kill Leia and he can't bring himself to do it. So he's even more thrown out of whack with the dark side than he was before. His scar heals up. We see that in the campfire scene at the end of the trailer. So what's possible is that he's saying to Rey, come with me, like, I'm going to bring you to Snoke. But he himself right then is on the edge of like losing his connection to the dark side. So bringing her, it would sort of parallel Return of the Jedi, like the Darth Vader or the Kylo Ren bringing the protagonist to the Emperor or to Snoke. Like, Kylo brings her there and he's like, okay, I got her. And in that moment when she's getting tortured, he bails on the whole idea. He's like, for whatever reason, he can't like reconcile that anymore. But in this scenario, he would get away and Rey would still be there. And turning her a little bit into the dark side, being trapped there with Snoke, and having him flee and a little bit trying to like redeem himself. So that's one way this could go. My biggest evidence for that right now is actually just, I'm not sure how Rey could come back from being tortured that badly in a good way. Like,
yeah,
that seems like, because in that moment, the Emperor had decided that Luke was not going to turn to the dark side when he's electrocuting him that badly. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to kill you. But this is the second like movie, and there's more time for more stuff to happen. So I'm thinking like she could easily be tortured to the point of switching. Like,
Yeah.
that would speed her along. I get that she's a good little girl and she has a great heart and she's like Wonder Woman in a way. Like, she's just so good in her intentions. But God, I don't know what I'd decide to do if I got basically waterboarded times 1,000.
Times 1,000. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would make a different movie. It definitely would be probably the most interesting and unexpected turn of events. I do think it would be a hard. I keep saying hard sell. It'd be a hard sell one for like all the characters to then switch their alignment, basically.
Yeah.
To use D&D terms. It would also be a hard sell, I think, for the audience. Like, I mean, my dad, if Kylo Ren suddenly became the protagonist, my dad would not see the movies. He
That
hates.
is like your focus group.
Yeah, well, because my dad's the one who introduced me to Star Wars. My dad's like, you think I'm obsessed with Star Wars? My dad just literally had a whole wall of Star Wars toys at our old house.
Oh wow.
Just he bought like all of them. He's like obsessed.
Love it.
And so, like, when he first saw Force Awakens, like, he was numb after Han died. Like, he didn't remember the end of the movie. He had to see it like 2 more times to get over it.
Yeah.
So he hates Kylo with a burning passion. And so if Kylo suddenly became the hero, he'd probably be done. He'd be like, why would we celebrate this guy who killed my favorite people? Like, this whiny, annoying punk. I don't want to deal with him. And I think a lot of people sort of feel the same way, just as much as a lot of people like identify with Rey and like her being such a hero. Like, lots of little girls love Rey and love that she's the good guy and she's such a badass. And if she suddenly turned evil, I think a lot of people would be really disappointed. Which is not to say like that they wouldn't do it. Obviously, like we're saying, people are going to be disappointed with the way Luke is portrayed in this movie, but it's still for the better. So, you know, if Rey does go evil, I still think they can make a good movie out of it. I just think they're making this with like the story in mind first, but they probably still consider the fans. And I feel like having the flip-flop, while some people are calling for it and think it'd be really cool, a lot of people would see it coming out of left field and a lot of people wouldn't like it. So I feel like they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it would be a very hard sell. Maybe I'm just coming from it from more of like a Game of Thrones mindset where the
Game of Thrones mindset, yes,
have redemptions that you actually buy.
Hashtag Jamie.
Hashtag Jamie. Honestly, like they rehabilitate people in ways you don't think is possible. The reason I've had this conversation with people, the reason I do think it is possible to at least somewhat redeem Kylo Ren is that, again, we always want his actions to remain his actions. Like, he did choose to kill his dad. But this is the dark side is more than just a metaphor for like drugs. It's like it fully consumes who you are, and it's like it can change people into monsters that, like, even Darth Vader, he does come back from that in death because everyone's forgiven him because he made the choice to come back from it. Yes, he was the worst. He's still, Darth Vader as a whole has done so many terrible things over the course of his life.
Killed kids on his first day. That's a nice get your foot in the door action to the dark side. But then just systematically eliminated all the Jedi, was a leading force in all these empires, like basically concentration camps. And he comes back. He comes back because of an act of like love that he does for his son. So my way of justifying Kylo, should they go that route, is just he was apparently targeted by Snoke as a very young kid before he even made the decision to overthrow the Academy. I'm not getting the sense that Snoke like called him up on his cell phone a week before he sacked the temple and said, "Hey, come over to the dark side. We have cookies." I'm getting the sense that he's like, when I found you, I was like, you were one of the most raw talents. Like, he was scouting this kid out from very young age. So is it his fault? Yes, but also no. Like, he's a victim of a lot of different circumstances. So just stuff to think about of like how complicated Star Wars kind of makes things. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it really quick. My computer's like running out of battery, so I'm just gonna grab my charger really quick. I know how to respond to this, so I'm just gonna jump back in. I'm just gonna get that real quick.
I'll go to the bathroom too.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're in business.
Okay.
Sorry, I started at like 70%. I'm like, yeah, this will be fine. And I've been watching it dwindle. It's like at 24 now. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, it's because my face is so beautiful on a screen. It's hard to like render for a computer.
Yeah, too many pixels. Too many pixels
Exactly.
for the Jordan
Pixely,
face.
man.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, do you remember like what I said?
Yeah. I know what we're doing.
Okay, cool.
So I was like, okay, I know the perfect response to this. I'll remember it so I can go now. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So so the deal with Kylo getting a redemption arc, it's I think for one, I think it's very likely. He's trying to emulate Anakin Skywalker. That would be the thing to then happen to him, is then get his own redemption arc, sort of like Anakin did at the end. I get that. And a lot of people want that. I know I argue with my girlfriend a lot because she's obsessed with Kylo Ren to the point where she calls him Ben Solo, and she just always calls him Ben, and she wants him to be redeemed. And a lot of people feel that way, and I get it. But you know me, hashtag let Kylo be evil.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So as much as I think it's possible and warranted, and they definitely leave the room open for it with him being unsure about killing Leia and maybe him helping Rey out. I find him more fascinating if he continues to choose to be evil. That's why I hope his like kill the past, become stronger, become what you need to be. It's his mantra to himself, a reminder of like move forward, go even darker. Because I think that's more interesting because it's more tragic and it's more unique than Darth Vader was per se. I think. I mean, Darth Vader had his own like I'm gonna be evil, ha ha ha, all the time. But still, I think to me that's more interesting. To me, it's more tragic for him to continuously have the choice, good or evil, and him keep picking the evil option and going darker and darker. And like I was talking to this another friend of mine. He thinks that Snoke is basically like done with Kylo. He's like, oh, Rey's actually the stronger one. She's my new plaything. She's the one I want. And I feel like if that happens, he said, like, I think this will spurn Kylo to be, start redeeming himself and thinking Snoke's not worth it. But I think he's more the type to be kind of petty about it and to be like, no, I really am the superior one. I'm going to prove it by killing Leia, by doing this, by doing that, whatever. I also think the thing that holds me back from thinking my hard sell on his redemption arc, to bring that phrase back, is the fact that he killed Han. And I know people are like, oh, well, Anakin killed kids, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that it was killing your own father that was the line that you could not cross for Luke in Return of the Jedi. He's given the option, kill your father and win the fight, but then you go to the dark side. That'll be it. There's no going back. And he chooses not to do it. Kylo has the exact same choice in the first movie, and he chooses to do it. To me, that signifies the darkest possible route for a Force user. Just because like that choice, it's almost too obviously the same thing to not signify him going down a path of continual darkness. The path of continual darkness, that sounds so edgy. But it's Kylo, so it's appropriate. So
I have
yeah.
questions for you then.
Okay, hit me.
My questions for you are, does that then mean that you hope in a weird, twisted way that he does kill Leia?
In a weird, twisted way.
Because
yeah,
how will he bounce back from that and remain evil and on the dark side should he not kill Leia?
Yeah. That's a hell of a question. Like I said, as much as my dad would hate it, I think it would feel too much like the same, I guess, of a dark choice as like in the last movie. So I wouldn't like it just because of that. But at the same time, like, I feel like they have to figure out a way to not have Princess Leia in the third movie. And as sad as that is to say, like, I feel like that's the most narratively.
You can't take that into account because they have been adamant that they didn't change a damn thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's probably one of the biggest issues with Colin Trevorrow in Episode 9 was having to pick up from that. Like,
Yeah.
because Ryan Johnson didn't like they were planning Leia to have a much bigger role in episode 9. They've said that. So it's pretty much confirmed that she's going to live. Sorry to spoil that.
Yeah, but I don't know. They could have changed that. I mean, maybe that's why College Draw dropped out. I don't know. But I don't want him to kill Leia because I feel like it'd be the same narrative beat as him killing Han. But the reason I'd be okay with him killing her for that idea of him going darker and darker and darker to prove to himself, I can do this. I'm continuously evil. Because that would make sense. That he gives himself that pep rally. He's like, this time I won't hesitate. Of course, then he does hesitate because he's still human. But I think if he chooses to be evil again, like that cements it. Like if he kills Princess Leia, I feel like that almost kills all talks of him having a redemption arc. Like it's one thing to do it once, to do it twice.
Fool me once.
Yeah, fool me once.
Kill one parent.
Yeah,
We've all heard that famous expression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, killing your dad, like that's just like Oedipus did that. Like, you know, who cares, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you kill both parents, well now, now you're pure evil, son.
Yeah, but I think the answer probably lies somewhere in between both of our desires because
Yeah, most likely.
like you're saying, go more evil, always choose the evil route, and I'm saying maybe get redeemed, but in the middle there is the fact that he's trying to kill Leia, but it looks like he's not going to. So
yeah,
it's like
I agree.
he could stay evil, but leave the servitude of Snoke because it appears that Snoke is trying to. He's like making him jump through all these hoops to say that he's finally a Sith. Like,
Yeah,
maybe Kylo is like almost gonna make a more pure version of the dark side to his own definition, which is like, I will join the dark side on my own terms, and I was fine to kill my dad, but like I don't want to kill my mom. Sorry, but I'm still evil. Like it's a possibility.
yeah, actually, that could be interesting. Is that if he's a villain, but he's like a rogue villain on his own, kind of like Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels.
Maul,
He's just
Asajj Ventress. There's lots of characters.
Yeah, they're bad guys, but they have their own idea of bad.
Yeah.
So that's possible. I think also I agree that he's gonna try to kill Leia and he's not. Because I think that's the thing about Kylo is that he keeps you on your toes because he always toes the line. He's always in the middle, and I think that's what makes him so interesting is that he is unpredictable like that. And so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him being in the middle, and you never know if this is the moment he's gonna get redeemed or if this is the moment he's going to go darker. Every single time you see him, I feel like he's permanently at that state where you don't know if he's gonna do the right thing or the wrong thing. Every single time he's about to do a thing, and I think the second movie is not the time to fully draw. Okay, he's permanently on this side now.
True.
So I do think we'll continue to see him sort of waver back and forth in this one. And then by the time we get to the third one, maybe he'll have switched a particular way, or maybe he'll still toe the line. And I think that's sort of the tragedy and draw to his character is that he is sort of always in that gray area as he moves back and forth.
It's just
so
Rey confronting Snoke in The Last Jedi has thrown a wrench in my whole idea about this trilogy. Like
that's why it's the craziest scene.
Accelerates this whole process.
Yeah.
Of who's going where on which side.
Oh yeah.
Is like the protagonist is confronting the biggest bad that we know about in the second movie. So how do you go bigger than that in the next one?
Yeah, it definitely shoots down a lot of my like ideas like where the third one's going to go. I mean, obviously, like, you know, there's going to be more confrontations again, but like, how do you set up confronting Snoke again to be more dramatic than the first confrontation? Because like with Return of the Jedi, it's really dramatic when he confronts the Emperor because it's the first time, and then the last. So yeah, I don't know. That's hashtag Snoke choke. It's the biggest wrench in this whole trailer, and I'm kind of happy for that. I feel like that's the thing because I mean, Tosche Station probably wouldn't have half the content if it didn't come from like these wild theories we keep coming up with. And
wrenches,
yes, the wrenches. You can't fix a show without a wrench. So thanks for the wrench, LucasArts and Lucasfilm rather, and Andy Serkis. So yeah, my head's just spinning about what could happen in the second movie and then what is the fallout to get picked up in the third.
Yeah. So overall thoughts? You sounds like you really hated this trailer.
Awful. 0 out of 10. Needs more porgs.
It's more porgs. They should just CGI a few more copies of that name porg.
Need more porg. I need Star Wars The Last Porg, Star Wars Revenge of the Porg, Return of the
Chewie ate the
Porg,
rest of them.
Attack of the Porgs, The Porg Strikes Back, A New Porg, The Porg Awakens.
You got him.
Rogue Porg. There you go.
Rogue porg.
Rogue Porg or Porg
Exhausted
1.
all your abilities.
Yeah, pretty much. Porg Rebels, Clone Porgs, whatever.
No longer happening.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. I tried extending it. It didn't work. It didn't work. The
Ah,
Porg Unleashed. Porg Unleashed. Star Wars Porg Unleashed. The video game.
going into the video
There,
game.
there you go. There you go. Porg front.
So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you hated the trailer.
No, yeah. The trailer's great. Like I said, the visuals alone look amazing. The promise of more confrontations, I think, was the thing that excited me the most, especially the Snoke thing. And like I said, the fact that it inspires, because I'll admit, like, I haven't been like as obsessed with Star Wars lately the past couple months. Just the real world has been like much more depressing and all this crazy stuff going on with my life. I wasn't nearly as obsessed with Star Wars as I was like a year ago, but this trailer really reignited like my obsession and my tendency to theorize and wonder what the hell is going to happen next, and the excitement to go out and see it has been fueled again. And for that, I'm really thankful.
Yeah. No,
But
absolutely. Me too. I thought it. Oh, go ahead.
What do you think?
Oh yeah, I loved the trailer. He took it in interesting directions. I'm getting the exact same sense from this trailer as I got from the first one, but more, which is the trailer doesn't have as many like I'm gonna cry from how beautifully nostalgic this is, but that's because it seems like The Last Jedi is just trying to mislead you about a really cool story that it's gonna have, rather than get you to clap about a character that's coming back. And that's a very different direction to take it. But yeah, it makes me way more hyped to see it. And I hope that Luke's line about nothing is as you think it's going to be, expect the unexpected, I hope that comes true, because lots of stuff that I thought was going to happen looks like it isn't going to. Lots of stuff that I thought was going to, it's just all flipped on its head.
Yeah, but honestly, I couldn't be more excited for that.
Yeah,
So
me too.
can't wait to see it.
So I think that wraps up our episode. I know it was kind of a beefy one, but we wanted to go through basically frame by frame because I don't know if there will be another trailer. There might be.
I think this is it. There might be another international one. Like there was like that Japanese trailer that came out for The Force Awakens, like right before it came out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like this is the last big one that we're going to get, and I think it delivered for being the last one, the Last Jedi, last trailer.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening. If you're still with us, and now that the content is coming back, we will continue to produce the content because there's stuff to talk about. And we're back. And yeah, Alex, how do you feel?
Feel good. Feels like we're home.
Was that the porg?
That was the porg. Yeah, that's the porg. I'm gonna perfect my porg roar.
We have time. So check out the young folks. Check us out on Facebook. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Okay, may the force be with you. Peace. We did it.
All right. Woo! That's an episode.
And perfect timing because I got to go to work.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. Stop, Barad.